I'm Mike Barrett. I'm the CEO with the Southwest Lynn. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you already in our board session. For those of you that just came, we had our board meeting today, so the Southwest Lynn board met here in Komoka, that's just the room across the way. Did all our regular board business, made decisions that our board normally makes, and various questions that we go through. But as part of our board meetings, over the last number of years, we move our board meetings around. So last month we were in Owen Sound, we've been in Mitchell, Fort Rowan, Tobermory, you name the place in the Southwest Lynn, we've been there. Our geography, you'll see on our map, goes from Long Point up to Tobermory. So when we move our board meetings around, when we first started doing this, the board said, you know, we were in Geriatric at the Bedford Hotel, and came in, did the meeting, did our board business, packed up and left. And the board said, you know, here we came to town, we're moving our board meetings around, but we never actually got to engage with the people of Goderich. So what we've done now, every second meeting, we have these board-to-board sessions, which we just held, which I'll explain in a minute, and then we have community engagement sessions. So the community engagement session is this, where we invite members of the public to come in, meet our board members, meet other health service provider board members, but also hear about healthcare within your own geography. So we've got a couple of great guest speakers tonight, and a great caregiver speaker who I just met, Frida, is going to speak to us tonight as well. So you get to get a feel for what the Lynn does, you get a feel for some healthcare issues and business within your own geography, and it gives you a chance to interact with other health service provider board members, as I said. So this is the community engagement session, but in between our board meeting and our community engagement session, we had a board-to-board session, which is where we invite board members from local health service provider boards to come to talk to our board members about what are some of the issues that board members have within their own organizations, how can the Lynn help you, how can the board members help you. So we had a good dialogue there, and a lot of good advice that we're going to take back in terms of how we roll out our integrated health service plan and all of our regular business that we do on a day-to-day basis. So before I start, maybe I'll just go, since it's a small group, maybe we'll just do introductions. I normally say who's here from Middlesex, who's here from Komoka, Kilworth, but maybe we'll just go around and do introductions and just say who you are and who you're, if you're with a health service provider organization or you're with a member of the public. Nancy.
I am Dr. Nancy Naylor. I'm on the board of directors for Structure.
We videotape them, and we have a YouTube video site on our website, which is proven to be quite popular. But it's also an easy way for us and a cheap way for us to get the message out about what's going on within particular communities. So Teresa will be operating the video camera. If you have any concerns about being on the videotape or any questions that you ask being on the videotape, let us know and we'll make sure that it's not included in anything that's posted on the website. But we've got great success with it, especially with the guest speakers. They provide a lot of great information about your local community. And I keep going back to Frida. Frida, we always ask that a caregiver come as part of these community engagement sessions to talk about what some of the services that the Lynn is funding and that our health service providers are providing mean to a caregiver, to a resident or a client, and those are the stories that, for me, always mean the most because, especially in the chair that I sit in and the chairs that Ron and Nico sit in, often you see the healthcare business from reports and numbers, and it's nice to see exactly what it means in terms of impact to clients. So I'm glad for you tonight. So as I said, our geography is quite large. So this is the Long Point down here in the south, up to Tobermory in the north. That includes Elgin, Oxford, London, Middlesex here in Perth, Bray, and Bruce, and a portion of Norfolk Township down here in the corner. It's one of the largest links from a geographic perspective, just under 1 million people. Obviously a significant rural population. The city of London is our large urban center, as probably everyone is familiar with, and then the large rural population as you head north and outside of the city of London. Large proportion of seniors, and a lot of those seniors actually live along the lakeshore. So seniors are retiring from GTA to cottages that they may have had along the Lake Huron or Georgian Bay Lakeshore and are living there on a permanent basis. Now, a small proportion of immigrants when compared to other parts of the province. 5 First Nations reserves, so we have 3 just southwest of London, and then we have 2 on either side of the base of the Bruce Peninsula. But we do have a French language services designation. So The Southwest Lynn has responsibilities for a large number of organizations. You can see we fund 19 public hospitals on 32 different sites. Why there's a difference between number of hospitals and number of sites. Some of our hospitals are actually multi-site corporations. So Grey Bruce Health Services, which is based in Owen Sound, is actually one corporation, but it has 6 hospitals. So it includes Southampton, Waterton, Markdale, Owen Sound, Waterton, Lions Head. Southbridge Grey Health Centre is another one that's based in Walkerton. We also have alliances, so that would be Middlesex Hospital Alliance, which is the alliance between Strathroy and Newbury, or here in Perth we have a 4-site alliance there as well. One community care access center, so the CCAC, the Southwest CCAC, has the same boundaries as the LHIN, so there's 14 LHINs, there's 14 CCACs across the province, and our boundaries are identical. 60 community support service agencies, so that includes organizations like VON, which we'll hear from Tanya tonight, talking about VON, but Meals on Wheels, Yale Brain Injury, organizations of that type. 38 mental health and addictions agencies, so that includes places like CMH in Middlesex, Watch, Search, here in Strathroy, Western Middlesex County. 5 community health centers, so that includes the West Elgin Community Health Center. There's also a community health center in St. Thomas, which is the Central Community Health Center, and then we did have reps here from the London Intercommunity Health Center as well. So we have 5 of those across the Southwest Lynn, and 78 long-term care homes. So that includes places like the Harvard Home, which Steve and his board are here tonight representing. Our expenditures, so those 150 organizations that we fund, we allocate over $2.1 billion that we allocate now. A good percentage of that goes to the hospitals, so about $1.4 billion goes to the 19 hospitals that we have responsibilities for, but that $2.1 billion is across the 150 health service providers. Our budget, our operational budget, is now less than $5 million because our budget was cut 5% by the provincial government this year, so it's actually below $5 million. But if you look at how much money that we get in to how much money we allocate to our health service providers, 99.75% of all the funding that we receive actually goes back out to health service providers, to places like Strathroy or we are governed by a 9-member board of directors. We actually have 8 now. We have 1 vacancy. The list of board members are there. So Nico and Ron, you met tonight. We also have Jeff Lowe, who's our board chair. Jeff is the former board chair of London Health Sciences Center, so he's got a good, strong healthcare board experience. Jerry Moss is from Southampton. Cheryl Fagan is a lawyer from Goderich. Ron Lipps is a former MPP from Annan, which is just outside Owen Sound. Barbara Westport is from Waterton, and Robert Wood is an accountant from the City of London. The vacancy right now, all of these board members are appointed through an order in council appointment by the government, and we're just going through the process to nominate someone for that vacancy that exists. So we put a request out for names, the names came in, and we put a nomination into the government. But it's not up to the LHIN to decide the selection of that board member. It's the government's onus to do that through an order of the council. We have a staff complement of 33 people. Those are full-time people, and probably about 10 contract people in total, so about 43 of them in total within our office. All of our board meetings are public, so this is something that is good from a sense of transparency and openness, but it means everything is out there. So if we have some difficult conversations, or you that are members of boards, when sometimes board discussions go a little not as straightforward as you'd hope, the media's there, the public's there, and that's the way we do our business. Everything's out there in the public. All of our agenda packages are posted online 1 week in advance of our board meetings, so that any recommendations that our board is seeing, the public can see a week in advance of those same recommendations. We can only go into a closed session for a prescribed number of reasons, and they would be for personnel reasons or legal or issues that typically come into a closed session. So with that, any questions before I introduce our speakers about the LHIN, what we do? There'll be lots of time at the end of the session as well to ask questions if you have any questions about the LHIN. Okay. So we've got 3 great speakers tonight. Originally, Darren McAuliffe, who's the Director of Operations at Sprucedale, which is the long-term care home, or one of the long-term care homes in Strathroy, was going to speak about long-term care home facts and myths. And unfortunately, Darren had a personal emergency today and wasn't able to come to the presentation. So Darren's not available to speak. But we do have Tanya and Karen, and I haven't even said hello to Karen yet, and Frida from our caregivers. So I'll introduce Tanya, and Tanya, you're going to start. Okay. Tanya Mulligan graduated with honors from Sheridan College in 1997 with a diploma in social service worker gerontology. Following graduation, Tanya started work at the VON branch in Oakville, the Alzheimer Adult Day Program as a recreation assistant. In 1999, Tanya moved to London and worked for the VON Middlesex branch in the Adult Day Program in Dorchester, Strathroy as a recreationist, and subsequently as coordinator. Tanya's next step in her career was working in the Senior Support Services Department as coordinator of client services, and in 2012 she then became the CHA Master Trainer and Community Assessor for the VON. She is currently the acting care and service manager for VON in Middlesex and enjoys making pottery in her spare time. With that, please welcome Tanya.
Thank you. I have a fellow potter in the room, so she can relate to that. So thank you for having me here today. I appreciate you inviting me. This is such a great opportunity. So which one do I press?
The one on the right.
The right? Okay, thanks. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a history of VON for those of you that don't know VON in much detail. Lady Aberdeen was the wife of the Canada's Governor General at the time, and she established VON in 1897. And she visited Vancouver in 1886 for the first time. And during this visit, she heard vivid accounts of hardship and illness with children and women in isolated areas of our young country. As a result of her experiences, Lady Aberdeen responded with a resolution to found an order of nurses in Canada to help isolated Canadians. This resolution was presented at the annual meeting in Halifax to the National Council of Women, and the order was named after Queen Victoria as a memorial of the 60th anniversary as Queen. On February the 10th, 1897, Prime Minister Sir Wilfrid Laurier offered the motion inaugurating the Victorian Order of Nurses of Canada, or the VON. For over 100 years, VON has pioneered health services in Canada, and we have a proud tradition of often being the first to identify emerging health and social needs, and then providing innovative services to meet those needs. So, how can we help you in 2013? We offer many, some technical difficulties here. That's not the slide that I'm at, but we'll get there. Community support services in the area. We offer many community support services, and mainly all of them are volunteer-based. We have the Alzheimer Community Support Program, hospice volunteer programs, senior support services, supportive housing, family supports, and adult day programs. So today, VON delivers more than 75 different programs and services through 52 local sites, staffed by 4,500 healthcare workers and by a dedicated army of volunteers, over 9,000 volunteers over Canada. And currently in Middlesex Elgin, we have over 900 volunteers in our area to help deliver our programs for our community. Our programs are volunteer-based, as I said, and I'm going to be going into specific program details with you, but just to highlight a few, for senior support services is a department that we have, and we have broad services within this department, including Meals on Wheels, telephone reassurance, wildlife, security checks, visiting programs, smart exercise clinics, and blood pressure clinics. We also have a family supports program, which provides many different services to enable adults with cognitive and physical disabilities to live independently in their own community for as long as possible, while giving support and respite to their families. So with regards to the Alzheimer Community Support Program, which provides an opportunity for caregivers to share their experiences with other caregivers in similar situations and provide supports for each other. The Alzheimer program also has a volunteer respite program and is a support service provided in a client's home to provide relief for family and friends from their caregiving role and to help relieve stress placed on family relationships. The UN also hosts an annual Alzheimer Awareness event, which actually is going to be held tomorrow at Sprucedale Care Centre from 6 to 8. And the event will be featuring Dr. Darcy Harris, the Associate Professor and Coordinator of the Thanatology Department at Western University. And her talk will be entitled Loss and Grief in Dementia and Non-Death Losses. And we are very fortunate that the event is like a sold-out event, so we're very happy to hear about that. But if you are interested in attending, you can certainly put your name on the wait list, and we can give you a call if someone does not show. We also have our hospice volunteer program, and it's a palliative visiting service that matches clients and volunteers to provide emotional and social support in the hospital or in the home. This program also provides bereavement support for the family for up to 1 year after the loss of a loved one. And support activities for this palliative care clients include listening to life stories, concerns and expressions of emotional, intellectual, and spiritual views, and companioning through times of rest. Supporting families and caregivers can also include emotional support for families and caregivers through the transitions of their loved ones, care and respite support to enable caregivers to have time for themselves and rest and relaxation. So our volunteer transportation program is one of our largest programs that we run in the county. It's obviously a volunteer-run program for seniors and adults living with disabilities throughout Middlesex County. Clients call into the local VON office and book a ride for a medical appointment, grocery shopping runs, errands, or simply to visit with family and friends. We also have an accessible vehicle, which is very, very popular, and the transportation is available within our two sites, Dorchester and the Strathroy office. We do have 2 accessible vehicles in the area. And clients do utilize the vehicle. It's a rear lift, and we have a lot of people that utilize the vehicle to go to medical appointments at the local hospitals and into London as well. So our Meals on Wheels program is another popular program, and it's offered throughout Middlesex County and is a support service that delivers a meal to individuals to meet their nutritional requirements. The meals are delivered by volunteers who provide regular social contact and check the health and safety of our clients. And quite often, the volunteer is the only outsider that they see in the whole day. So that visit with that volunteer means so much to the client, and it's such a connection to the outside world for those clients. So it's such an important program. And we use many variety of meal providers to help implement the program for us, so such as restaurants, caterers, hospitals, and long-term care facilities. Another popular program that we do offer is our supportive housing program, and this is a picture of Charlene Village, and it's retirement residence in Strathroy, and that's where our supportive housing is located. It's an alternative to long-term care, and enables individuals to continue living in the community, providing support services such as personal care, assistance with bathing, toileting, dressing, transferring, security checks, and some meal preparation. Care may be provided at one time or intervals throughout the day to make up a full complement of service. Professional staff provide 24 hours care to support individuals in their own apartments, and service is offered at Trillium Village and at our Elsa Craig site at Craigwell Gardens. This is one of our newest programs, and it's our home health program, and we're very excited about this program because there's such a need in our community. We get several phone calls asking for assistance with housekeeping, so we're very pleased to announce this program. And the home health program assists frail or elderly seniors or adults living with a physical disability to remain independent in their homes. These services are intended to be regular and ongoing and are available Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. And the home health program can be scheduled weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly. The services that could be delivered for the clients would include light housekeeping, such as vacuuming, dusting, washing dishes, sweeping, that type of thing. Meal preparation, which includes planning of meals, preparing the meals, or preparing the meals according to a special diet if necessary. Laundry, including changing the bedding, and ironing and mending, that type of thing. Shopping, obviously grocery shopping or errands that need to be done. And yes, we're very much looking forward to this program. We're in the process of hiring our home helpers, and we're hoping to have this program implemented mid to late February. One of our most popular programs, I guess we have many of those programs, but specifically the Adult Day program, and this is one of the programs that's really near and dear to my heart. We have 2 locations currently in the Strathroy area and the Dorchester area. And this program is an opportunity for individuals in the community to come together and spend time with their peers, doing different therapeutic activities under the supervision and qualification of qualified recreationist and coordinator. The activities range from pet therapy to client-centered activities to day trips. Through client council meetings, they're held monthly with the clients, and they help the recreationist in set the calendar of events for the month, therefore incorporating their sense of independence within the program. We can also cater to the needs of those clients with dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and younger adults with disabilities. And we can also offer therapeutic bathing with a whirlpool tub that allows easy and safe access. The tub is equipped with a side door as well as a hydraulic lift. And clients who attend the Adult Day program report a decrease of feeling isolation and loneliness. It also provides caregivers with respite from daily caregiving tasks, knowing that their loved one is safe and happy within the program. Some of the activities that are included in the programming are fitness. We have an exercise hour with our clients, and they just love it. Outings, crafts, baking, reminiscing programs, just to name a few. So currently we have, like I said earlier, 2 sites, the Strathroy site and the Dorchester site, and they run Monday through Friday. In our Strathroy Adult Day program, we have been very fortunate to be chosen to be one of the providers for overnight respite for our clients in the program to address the service gaps that exist after our regular day program hours. We have 2 respite beds. The use of the overnight beds will allow for up to 30 hours of respite if the client attends the program the day before and the following the overnight stay. We have PSWs that work throughout the night, ensuring that the needs of our clients are met in a safe, home-like environment. So these are just some pictures of our Adult Day program. This is the intergenerational programming that we offer. We have students from local schools that come out, specifically around Christmas time. They do carols and crafts, that type of thing with the clients. And here you can see that they're just doing a parachute game. And again, the outings are the client's most favorite things to do, right? So they're going to different locations, whether they're going to the Sugar Bush or the greenhouse or a local restaurant. They're really enjoying the outings this is our overnight respite room. There are Murphy beds, and they have little pull-out side tables and places there to store their clothes through the night. And we have a dividing wall there, so they obviously have their personal space. So the clients that do utilize this absolutely love it. We currently have 2 gentlemen that use it quite frequently. It's just one of those programs that caregivers really enjoy using. So, and that being said, I brought someone very special here tonight with me to share her story with you and her experiences with the VIEW and Strathroy Adult Day Program. Frida is a caregiver and wife to Nick, who has attended our Adult Day Program since 2009 and has also utilized the overnight respite beds. So please help me in welcoming Frida.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. My name is Frida, and I'm caregiver to my husband, Nick. January 2008, he was diagnosed with PSP, progressive supranuclear palsy. It's a brain degenerative disease which affects your eyesight, your swallowing, mood changes, your balance. It's just a very nasty, nasty disease. I've got short-term memory too. They diagnose this disease by your eye movement. First, Nick was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and they ruled that out. And then they diagnosed him with cortical basal degeneration. And the final diagnosis was, like I said, PSP. And they do this because as we're into this 5th year of this disease, it's now very apparent that Nick's eyes don't move up and down anymore. He can see about this much in front of him. He's able to watch TV, which I'm very thankful for. But other than that, peripheral vision is okay, but it's just that he cannot see that well. Choking spells are happening on a daily basis now. His tongue has become very thick and rigid, which makes it very difficult for him to speak and also to swallow. And swallowing, when he does swallow, oftentimes he starts to choke and he can't stop, and so he loses consciousness, albeit just for a few seconds. It's pretty scary when it happens. Also, uncontrollable laughter. When he starts to laugh, he can't stop. And then again, we have this where he loses consciousness. Like I said, it's a really nasty, nasty disease. About a year and a few months after he was diagnosed, it was suggested to us that we try the Adult Day Program in Strathroy. So off we went, we filled out the papers, and he thought, that might be a good thing. You know, we could try this. And Thursdays, it was suggested Thursdays because it's Gentlemen's Day on Thursdays. It's mainly men. And I thought, well, that was even better. So we literally lived down the street. So that next Thursday, got him all ready. I dropped him off, and I cried all the way home. I had such mixed emotions. This was a man who had looked after me for 45 years. And all of a sudden, I was looking after him, and the tables completely turned. But I have to tell you, the Adult Day Program for us has become our second family. I don't know where we would be today if it wasn't for the VOM and our Adult Day Program. He's met so many wonderful people, and he's made such good friends. Because of his declining eyesight, I have to tell you this story. I guess one of the clients was listening, and he was concerned about Nick, about the fact that he couldn't see when he was eating. And he was a woodworker, table that sits on this table, so that he could see. And he put a little groove in the back, so that when they played cards, he could put his cards in there so he could see them. And I thought, wow, that was really, really something. So we were bringing this table back and forth, and I thought, gee, I should talk to Daniel and see if he could make us one of those tables. So the next Thursday, I walk in. I didn't even have to say anything. He just went. And he looked over at the table, and here he had made us one. So we have one of them too, so which is really nice. I can't stress enough. I think the biggest thing about the BON Day program is that they focus on things that Nick is still able to do. And that's just so very, very important. This was a man who I said was very independent. And now, 5 years later, he's totally dependent on others for all of his care. But I know that when I drop him off, or right now he's being picked up and dropped off, he's getting such excellent care at our adult care program. It's an open door policy. If I have any concerns, I just have to pick up the phone, and they're right there for me. And if vice versa, if they feel that there's something that's going on and maybe I should know about it, they let me know. I think just recently they've offered us, like Tanya was telling us, the overnight respite. I tell you, I could have kissed every single person in that room when he came home and he said, I'm sleeping over at the day program. And I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. He said, I put my name down. And I said, well, I think we need to find out a little bit more about this, you know. So I called up Tin, and she said, well, sure enough, she said, yes, we're offering for one overnight. And she said, Nick was the first person to put his name down. And I said, well, isn't that wonderful? So from that day to this, every month, he'll say, when's that overnight coming up? And he puts his name down every month. And I can tell you, that's the one night when I go to bed and I sleep with both eyes closed. I'm not worried if he's going to fall, if he's going to choke. And it just gives me peace of mind. Like I said before, the VON is our second family. And I don't know where we would be today without them. I am so grateful that they're there and that we can take advantage of this service. There's such compassion and love and care that these people give to my husband and to me too. As his primary caregiver, I've come to the point where, yeah, I need help. You know, this is not a journey that we wanted to go on, but I'm very happy that VON is on board and there for us. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Frida. I had a chance to talk to Frida just before when she first came in, and she said she's been waking up at night thinking about this presentation. And I think that was the most wonderful presentation delivered with poise and confidence, and it really told the story nicely. And as I said earlier, this is what is often with the Lynn business. We see things from reports and money, and this is what we need to see: is that how does the money that we're investing with our health service providers like VON, how does that translate into good quality client care and care and supports for the caregivers? So very much appreciate you coming tonight and taking time to tell your story. It's very much appreciated. Our next and last speaker is Karen Johnson. Karen's going to talk about the behavioral response team at Lynn Health Sciences Center. I'll just do an introduction of Karen. She's a social worker by profession. Currently, her role is the Enhanced Single Geriatric Resource Consultant for the Behavioral Response Team of the Geriatric Mental Health Program in London. Karen has a passion for working with the older adult population, with a particular focus on supporting formal and informal care providers of individuals who experience behaviors related to their mental health and cognition. So welcome, Karen.
Rita, you're a tough act to follow.
So thank you very much for having me here this evening to speak about the Geriatric Mental Health Program and how BSO relates to that. So we're going to talk about the mental health team and the behavioral response team. A little bit of history. The Geriatric Mental Health Program, and there are a lot of acronyms with the Geriatric Mental Health team and the BSO and whatnot, so I'm going to try to not bombard you with them. The Geriatric Mental Health Program began in 1980 at South Street, and it involved or included one psychiatrist, one RN, and one social worker. In 1992, the Geriatric Mental Health Program expanded to include 2 RNs, 2 social workers, and in 2010, again, it expanded to include 2 geriatric psychiatrists, and also eventually moved over to the Victoria Hospital campus at LHSC. The Geriatric Mental Health Program mandate is basically to provide a mental health assessment, some consultation, and treatment of individuals 65 years and older who experience mental health concerns. And also they do assess and treat individuals who are under the age of 65 but have an age-related mental health condition. Family physicians and other medical specialists can refer to the program, and actually the referrals initially could be directly sent to GMHP. However, GMHP has been a part of joint specialized geriatric services with their central intake. The Geriatric Mental Health Program, very, very busy. The 2 social workers, the 2 nurses, the 2 geriatric psychiatrists. It takes up to 2 months from the time of referral for someone to actually go and see them. When the mental health team, the geriatric mental health team sees someone, it's an initial visit by one of the nurse case managers or one of the social workers, followed then 2 weeks later by a visit with the geriatric psychiatrist. So again, they offer follow-up treatment, including pharmacotherapy, individual, family, and group psychotherapy. We work very closely with community partners. If I can mention some names, and I know people would recognize them. And assessments and treatments occur. What's nice, they don't happen just at the hospital. The team actually, the social workers and the psychiatrists and the nurse case managers can actually see people in their homes, in the community, so their apartment, their house, long-term care homes, and rest retirement homes. Now we get to the exciting part, the BSO, the Behavior Supports Ontario Geriatric Mental Health. In 2010, the Ministry of Health created a province-wide strategy, which a number of people are familiar with, the BSO, Behavior Supports Ontario. The focus really was on building those existing services, creating some new services, and also strengthening community partnerships and collaborations, strengthening the relationships between care partners in response to responsive behaviors of older adults. Now, responsive behaviors is a term that if you work in long-term care in certain health areas, you're likely pretty familiar with the term responsive behaviors. Most people don't know. Responsive behavior generally is an individual who's having a behavior response to something. It could be something in their environment, it could be something happening internally, and that can manifest as something overt like hitting, swearing, punching, or it could be something as we may not think as a response, but withdrawal. So if someone has a really severe depression, they may withdraw, quit eating, whatnot. So the BSO is formed to respond to older adults, because we do have a tsunami occurring, older adults who are experiencing these behaviors. So London Health Sciences and the Geriatric Mental Health Program became the lead organization and program to develop BSO initiative in London and Middlesex. Now, we did experience an identity crisis, I have to say, because our staff complement almost tripled. I've actually been with the Geriatric Mental Health Program since May, and we've added on several team members. So to deal with this identity crisis, we have to keep in mind we're still the Geriatric Mental Health Program, but now we actually have 2 streams, kind of like 2 teams. The mental health team, the MHT. So that's the original core Geriatric Mental Health Program team. So they still maintain their current roles and functions. They're seeing people long-term in the community. And that's the 2 social workers, 2 RNs, and 2 geriatric psychiatrists. The Behavioral Response Team, BRT, in 2012 was created from the BSO initiative. Now, we were originally called the SMART Team, Seniors Mental Health and Addiction Response Team. Can't use that, completely understand. So then we became the BSS team. Had a lot of jokes from that. So then we were the BSO, and we were really having identity issues. So we thought Behavior Response Team, so the BRT. So we got called the BIRDs. So we are a high-risk and urgent response mobile team. We provide assessment, consultation, and intervention for those responsive behaviors, individuals who are in high risk. Really, people who are at risk due to mental health, addictions, cognitive issues. The difference between us and the mental health team is that short-term, very intense case management. So we receive a referral, we assess the level of risk, and we go in fairly quickly, and we provide consultation. Get lots of information. It's pretty incredible to watch. Our team members are currently based at Victoria Hospital. However, they are actually moving out to different community partners. One of them is currently actually out of McCormick Home. And we have 3 other long-term care homes that we'll be having my team disperse to. Our team. BRT members. I love the team. It's interdisciplinary. I truly believe in having different disciplines involved. So we have the Enhanced Psychogeriatric Resource Consultant, an occupational therapist, 2 RNs, 2 social workers, a recreational therapist, a psychologist, a geriatric psychiatrist to consult, and we are currently trying to recruit a nurse practitioner. The beauty of this team is all these different perspectives, and even though a file might get assigned to a social worker, the social worker might say, you know what, we need some meaningful activities for this person. Can we get our recreation therapist involved? She can come in and do an assessment, provide some suggestions. Same thing, our occupational therapist can go and perform OT home assessments for safety. So it's a really wonderful team. Our mandate, we are quick. There's no 2-month wait. It's quick. If someone leaves a phone message on our phone line, within 2 hours they'll hear a nice warm voice on the other end. So we are 24/7. We support our clients and caregivers, again, like the mental health team, so out in the community, in rest retirement homes, and long-term care homes. We do a whole bunch of different assessments. As I mentioned, the OT, the rec therapy assessments. We use the MOCA, the mini-mental, a whole bunch of screening tools. We provide clients and caregivers with support, and we also refer people to appropriate programs. Like we would make referrals to the VON for certain services. Refer to the Alzheimer Society, to the Alzheimer Awareness Service, a number of supports. We assist with problem solving. We can provide ad hoc education and support to both informal and formal caregivers. Sometimes it's communication, maybe having a caregiver understand maybe some better communication strategies when they're helping their say their loved one, because perhaps the caregiver is unknowingly triggering responsive behaviors. So we can provide that education and then refer them to appropriate supports like maybe the Alzheimer Society or ALS. We love to collaborate with various agencies, professions, and disciplines. We are working very closely with long-term care homes, and particularly with the BSO funding that's come down the chute with the new BSO staff who are in place in the long-term care facilities. So those staff specifically are working with behaviors in the homes, and there are really close links with those facilities. So we're working hard with them. We also provide formal education. There's been a lot of education recently in long-term care homes with the gentle persuasive approach, also known as GPA, pieces, Montessori, the Montessori method for dementia, and also You First. Ultimately, we want to reduce the incidence of people going to the emergency department. Emerge is not the best place for this population. Sometimes, absolutely, people have to go to emerge, but largely, we can keep them in their home, and we're going to try to do that. To contact the BRT, unlike the mental health team, we actually have a direct line, so you don't have to go through centralized intake. You call our special number, and we also have our own fax number. We have referral forms, which we've been providing to long-term care homes, physicians, and community agencies. We're still rolling this out. We just started in November, so I know there are some agencies that haven't received everything. I'm asking them to get in touch. I'm more than happy to give that information or if they call me. Also, excitingly, beginning in February, just coming up pretty quick. We are going to be accepting direct referrals from people in the community. So you no longer have to get the referral through your doctor or through a community agency. You can pick up that phone. One thing I do like to stress, however, we are an urgent response team. We're not a crisis line. We're not a crisis team. We are currently accepting, again, the direct telephone referrals from long-term care homes and community agencies. We are looking forward to opening up that link, though, for people in the community. This is our contact information, the direct phone line, the direct fax line, and my own information. So that's me in a nutshell. We've been busy. We've been really, really busy, and it's a really incredible team to see the different disciplines all come together, and especially really working with the other agencies. It's about relationships. A large part of our role is establishing those relationships with organizations and long-term care homes. And it's been really a wonderful experience so far.
Okay, any other closing comments or questions? And I got in trouble before that by not saying that these programs that you heard about tonight were because of additional funding that the LIN was providing to VON, to the Mental Health Sciences Center. So we're seeing we're making these investments, not just doing these across the board increases, but targeting them to specific programs that we're getting better outcomes for the people that we're trying to serve. And hopefully the story that Frida provided tonight is a good example of that. So again, let's give a round of applause to Tanya, Frida, please fill out those evaluation forms that Marilyn has it back there. So we can change this if we need to change it for our next one. Drive safely.